Hey world, hey universe, I'm super happy to be back here once again with all of you on yet another beautiful day. Little bit humid, so I'm sweating, never mind. Congratulations, Manasi, for winning the physical copy of First Things First book for your beautiful and inspirational comment. And congrats, Janet, for winning the scheduling call with me. And my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all those who shared your wisdom, your experience, and what really matters the most to you in your lives. So I'm super touched as ever. So jumping into today's episode, which is a little bit sensitive and sensational topic about this current Black Lives Matter movement that's happening. I'm going to ask two profound questions. It's nothing personal, so this is to me as well. The questions are we racist, and can we be convicted of guilt for the current acts of racism? So with these questions, I'm just jumping straight into the episode. So we need to understand the evolution of human species a bit to really understand the origin of race. Okay, so with the current evidence in place shared by Dr. Spencer Wells, our origin, which is the evolution of the current the modern humans that we are called, like the Homo sapien species, can be traced back to 200,000 years. Okay, so Homo sapiens meaning wise men. So our evolution can be traced back to just 200,000 years back, or just 2,000 generations, and 99.9% of our genetic expression is related to one father, an African father, 200,000 years back. Okay, so we all belong to this one lineage. So if you just go back 2,000 generations, then we just can go back to this one African father. And of course, when it comes to human race in itself, that is like many million years old. So before the Homo sapiens, there were Homo erectus, and then there were multiple other species. We're not getting into that. We're only just talking about the current modern human evolution and the evolution of the current concept of racism. Now that if we just have one African father, then how did we all start to differ in color? All of us should be black, right? So of course we started to migrate after our evolution to different parts of the world, to Europe and Asia and things like that. And what we call epigenetics, that is interaction of environment with our genetic expression. So be it the sunlight or the climate, the weather, and various other factors influenced our skin color, eye color, and the entire appearance, and that's how we started to appear in different forms, shapes, and colors. And the second thing is looking in a little bit deeper into the evolution of racism as such. Colonialization started, so somebody became masters and somebody had to become slaves for these masters, and then the social and political construct of racism came into the picture for various reasons. And unfortunately, even these constructs were held for certain advantages, and certain other political benefits. So without going more in depth into that aspects, we just have to now understand that all of us are from one African father. So now coming back to our profound questions that I asked. So how do we really understand that whether if we have this tendency of racism within us, and can we be considered guilty for these current acts of racism? We just have to ask a little bit more profound questions. So those questions include, have you ever felt superior or inferior over others because of your appearance, your skin color, your financial status, the car, the wealth, the house that you possess, because of your educational status, because of the lineage from which you are from? Have you ever felt proud about it, or about your ancestral origin, your caste, creed, own religion? And apart from being a silent witness of all these happenings, of course such pathetic happenings all around, inhumane acts of violence and outrageous acts of criminalism, have we ever propagated our superiority by teaching our kids that we belong to the best caste and we belong to the best religion and stuff like that at any point of time, without knowing the ultimate truth? And have we ever used our race, caste, creed for our own self propagation when and where required? And have we ever used it to vote for or vote against someone? And have we ever used it to draw boundaries against our own self just because we want to protect our ancestral lineage and origin? Have you ever done all these at some points of time? Okay, it's just questions that we need to ask to our own self to gain clarity about our belief systems. And do we ever belong to this act of violence, or have we ever contributed to this act of violence through these subconscious beliefs that we have built even without really knowing about it? Okay, that's why I ask these questions, because social activism is not just enough until we really understand these crutches that are holding us and the grudges that are beholding us. We can never create the bright future that we want to create. And I can hear some of you saying, Riz, it's very easy to really speak these things, but it's too difficult in real lives to break these systems that are held for 100,000 years. I can hear you, my friend. I can really hear you, because I have faced or I have witnessed all these acts of discrimination. But my only question is this: do we want to live with this problem, for which there's only one way out, which is the extinct of human species? Okay, because looking at the outrageous acts of violence that's happening with this current constructs that we have developed, it can only lead to one thing, which is the extinct of the current species. So if we want that way out, yes, we can hold on to these belief systems. But if we want the world and the universe to become better place for the next generation, then we need to look at solutions. So what are these solutions? Number one is to understand the eternal reality. So what is this reality which we are talking about? When you think about nature and natural calamities, including the current COVID-19, has it discriminated against anybody or anyone depending upon your caste, creed, race, religion, etc., financial status, blah blah? No. And when you really think about the martyrs that gave their lives to protect their own countries, okay, beginning from people from Ramna to Hyderabad to Punjab, or even on the other side, have they ever looked at all these constructs to save people? And when you really look at the sun and the moon shining bright up above, has it really told any one of us that I'm going to only shine on the divine lands and not going to shine on the prohibited lands? So unless we really understand the eternal truth and reality, we can never come out of these boundaries that we have built around us. Okay, so that is the number one thing that we need to realize. The second thing is, it takes me to Bharati's quote, the song that starts like Vellai Nirathoru Poonai. So the song goes like this: there was this cat that gave birth to kittens of varied colors, beginning from ash to black to snake color to milk. And though the kittens are of these varying colors, can they be discriminated against at any point of time? Very similarly, even the human constructs, for that matter, can never be discriminated for their color or appearance. What really matters is only the thoughts and the actions, the thoughts and the deeds that matters, and not the external appearance. So that's how the song goes. And so it's very important for us to understand the underlying eternal reality. And to understand that, we just have to understand one thing, which is to move from these conditioned minds to true exploration of the truth that is lying deep within all our own selves. Just close your eyes and ask, who am I, who am I? And in that silent void space, you will really get the answer, my friend, believe me, which is the eternal truth, okay, not the one that you are seeing in the physical reality. And that takes me to the beautiful quote, which is, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, so if you really want to explore spirituality at the deepest of its true sense, then it's very important to let go of these boundaries, without which you can never explore your true spiritual self. And my only wish is that we just have this one box in all our application forms that just says human. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to finish with my quote that I have for today, which is, let go of the fear, conditioning and boundaries. Stay open, curious, aware, with total surrender. You will wake up to the eternal truth that is nothing but the light of pure love, which is not bounded by anything. Okay, which is not bounded by anything. And if still some of you feel I do not have any bias, or I really want to understand and dive deep into my own soul, then there is something called the implicit association test, the link of which I'm going to give below in the comment section. This test has been validated by the Harvard University, so you can go and find your own biases, because many times we build these subconscious beliefs without us knowing about it, right? So you can go and find out your own bias and belief systems in place, so that you can start to work on it. So just go take that test. And I just have only one word to say before I finish, which is stop living in these shells and start to embrace the true being. And until I see you next week, signing off with infinite love, gratitude and bliss, this is yours, Riz. Let the soul speak.